All right, we kick things off in a perfect way, in my opinion. Obviously, it's a tough time in the world. There's a lot of negativity going around. So I thought to myself, what can we do to brighten things up? We got to bring on the nicest MFer title belt holder, the number 5 ranked welterweight in the UFC. We need to bring on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and here he is. Stephen, how are you, man?
What's up? Doing good, man. Doing good. Living the quarantine life, which I don't mind. I'm hanging out with the fam a lot, so we're just chilling. Still getting workouts in at the gym because nobody else can come in, so I just go in and break a sweat. But it's all good, baby. It's all good.
I was just going to ask you about that because this obviously is a super interesting time right now, not just as a fighter, but, like you mentioned, as a coach and an instructor at Upstate Karate in Simpsonville, South Carolina. Like normally you're hosting after school programs. You're the one driving the bus around to pick up all the kids. And now things have changed quite a bit. What has life been like in the middle of this pandemic?
Well, our gym is still, we're closed, but we're doing online classes. So it's pretty cool to see all of our students tapping into our Facebook Live, and we're still doing classes on a daily basis as if they would in their normal times, but at home. Man, it's different. It really is. I mean, I'm going to look back. We all are 10, 15 years from now and be like, remember when the world was on quarantine? Like the world is like in quarantine right now. It's crazy. I mean, that's like the first time that's ever happened.
It definitely in our lifetimes. I mean, when this all began, did you think that we would get to this point? Like, I'll be honest, I took it seriously, but I didn't expect things to get here, No,
I didn't at all. I didn't expect this, to the point of where nobody can go out, especially here in South Carolina. I mean, there's like nobody here. So, but I saw where Greenville, South Carolina is like the most heavily like, I guess, traveled spot in the whole United States right now. So I don't think that's a good thing. But yeah, I would have never expected that at all. It's crazy. It is. It's nuts.
So let's talk about you, sir. You're coming off that great win at UFC 244 against Vicente Luque at Madison Square Garden. Unfortunately, you suffered 2 broken hands in that fight. How are the hands doing all these months later? Are they back to full strength now?
Yeah, hands are feeling good right now. That's what took so long, man. For some reason, man, the older you get, the longer it takes to heal. But I ended up breaking both my hands in the second round. It was my right hand that took the longest to heal. I think that's the one that took the most damage. But yeah, it's feeling good. I can hit a bag right now. My grip is fairly weak, but I'm doing physical therapy, working on strengthening it up. So we'll be back before you know it. So I'm excited.
Did you know in the second round that you had broken both of them?
Oh yeah. It's funny because in a fight, normally when you get injured, you don't feel it till afterwards. When the adrenaline goes down and the pain you start feeling everything. But when you feel it in the octagon, you know that you're hurt. I ended up dropping him with a left hand and broke my left hand there. And then while he was on the ground, I hit him with a right hand and fractured my index finger knuckle, which sunk in pretty good. I felt both of them. I went back to the corner. I was like, Pops, my hands are broken. And he's like, well, hit him with them anyway. So I'm like, all right. It's everybody's like, man, why didn't you finish him in the third round? Why didn't you finish him? I was like, I couldn't. Like, I tried to hit him as hard as I could, but it was like my body wouldn't let me do it. I was like trying to hit him. And right at the last minute, I would like, I don't know, my body would like pull away. I would hit him, but I wasn't sinking it in. It's like it's weird. My body wouldn't let me do it.
What is it about the relationship between Madison Square Garden and your hands, Stephen? I mean, the Masvidal fight, it was 2 broken thumbs. This time, 2 broken hands. I mean, you won both of those fights, but still, what is going on here?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to have to really get a good tape job in, especially on my thumb or something, the next time I step out there. Or I just fight guys with super hard heads, I mean, Masvidal's got a melon on him. Vicente Luque's got a melon on him. Both tough guys. Yeah, the first one, Masvidal broke both my thumbs. And then, this last one, I broke both my hands. What the heck? So I got to get back on my hand conditioning, which is my number one priority right now. And not a whole lot of guys do hand conditioning, especially in the MMA scene. But us karate guys, old school karate guys, I've been around it my whole life. My dad's got freaking like watermelons as knuckles. So I'm trying to get to where he's at. So next time I step out there, I don't break my hand again.
What kinds of things do you do for hand conditioning, if you don't mind me asking? Because I have no idea.
Well, we have a makiwara. I don't know if you heard of a maki. A maki is a wooden post, and there's a piece of leather. There's a smooth piece of leather wrapped around it, and then right below it, there's a more of a coarse piece of leather, which is used to condition the skin of your hand. But on the smoother piece of leather, I'll hit it about 100 times with my two big knuckles, and then I hit it about 100 times with my two smaller knuckles. And what that does is, when you're constantly, you're not hitting it hard. It's just a constant pop, pop, just pat, pat. And what it does when you taking that little bit of damage to that area, your body's like, all right, I need to thicken up. So it starts sending calcium to that area and starts thickening it up, making it harder. My dad goes to the extent of where he'll slap it 100 times. And his hand, I remember as a kid, his hand is really dense, man. It's very thick, very, very dense. And his knuckles are coarse, got little calluses and stuff on them. But he used to discipline me, man. I would get in trouble. He would take the top of his hand and smoke the top of my head and make me see stars, man. I'm like, my ears start ringing. Oh my God. Because there's 5 of us, we're all alpha dogs. I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And we would run around like crazy, acting a fool. And that's like the only thing we would listen to is a good smack to the skull.
Oh man, craziness. And sort of speaking of the craziness, is obviously like we talked about, a lot of uncertainty in the world with the coronavirus. A lot of people are out of work. It's, pretty much every major sports organization has shut down and postponed their schedules. The UFC, however, they are moving forward with theirs beginning April 18th. Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje at UFC 249 is a new main event. I've asked a lot of fighters about this, but what are your thoughts, Stephen, on the UFC moving forward during this crazy time?
I think it's great. I mean, when everything else is shut down, I mean, they're taking precautions, obviously. I don't think they're going to allow anybody in the stadium, but I think he's got a private island or something that he's getting. I'm like, what? A private island? That's crazy. I mean, I knew UFC had money, but I didn't know they had like that money. And it could be just like an acre of property out in the middle of the ocean. I don't know. But they're buying a private island, which is crazy. But I think this fight is going to be, it's going to be a good one. I think it's really going to be a barn burner because, everybody wants to see the Khabib and Tony Ferguson. Because I remember the last time they were supposed to fight was, I think UFC 209 when I fought Tyron Woodley, and I think Khabib ended up having to be hospitalized or something for the weight cut. But Gaethje is just as exciting, just as tough as anybody out there, and a dangerous opponent at that for anybody. So for him to step up and be like, let's go. I want this fight. For an interim title, I think it's going to be, I think the fans are going to love it. I really do. For Tony Ferguson, I don't know if I would have taken that, man. I mean, that's a tough fight for anybody, like I said, and but Tony Ferguson don't care. He just doesn't care. He's asking for it. So, for sure. I think it's a great fight for both of them. Do I have a pick? No, I don't. I know they're both tough as nails. I think Gaethje may have a hard time with the reach, and how tall Tony Ferguson is. But that could play into his game. I figured the same thing. Tony Ferguson walks forward, it's going to make the takedown a little easier. And if Gaethje has good timing, Tony Ferguson could run into a right hand or a left hand. And he's got the power to do it. I mean, knocked out Barbosa like it was nothing. So, solid fight. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if you are, but I am. I think it's going to be great.
I mean, that fight on paper, I mean, how could you not be excited for it? I know that's like a weird time. And I feel like my colleague, we were doing a reaction video yesterday, Alex K. Lee, said the unfortunate part is we're not going to get the best of both of those guys. It's still a great fight, but we're still not going to get the best of each fighter. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I do. I really agree. I do with that. I mean, I don't know what the whole deal with Khabib. He's locked up in Russia. I don't think they're letting him come in. So I don't know if he wasn't able to, or if he's just not. Do you know that? Do you know the answer to that?
I think it's kind of like a combination of the two, because the borders are shut down, but then reports came out that maybe if they got like a private plane and they got like permissions from the businesses to fly them out, it was just Khabib. I guess his whole thing was no one told him where it was going to be. And I still, to this point, don't even know if anybody really knows where this fight's even going to take place.
Yeah, I heard, I think somebody posted up yesterday. It was like, UFC 249 is happening in some spot of the world. Like nobody knows
somewhere
where it's at. Somewhere on Earth. I think you might have saw it. But yeah, nobody knows where it's at. So, I don't think we will know. It's going to end up just at the arena. Watch it be not even on a private island. Watch it be just, they're just saying it is. I don't know. So, yeah, man. I mean, that is true. We're not getting the best of both. And everybody's been wanting this fight to happen for the longest time. Somebody said the coronavirus happened because those two fights was booked. I don't remember where I saw it, but I thought it was hilarious. But of course, something would happen when you book this fight. It's nuts.
Yeah, because even after 209, they tried to book it again for that Brooklyn card before the Dolly incident. Well, I think it was that same card.
That's right.
And then Tony tripped over the wire and tore the ligament in his knee. I mean, they have to do a 30 for 30 on booking this fight, right?
Right. Yeah, they have to, man. They have to. God, this is so weird. This is so wild. I mean, but when it does actually happen, whoever wins, hopefully, they'll end up getting that fight. If Tony wins. If Gaethje wins, well, it looks like Gaethje is going to be getting it. But they've been wanting this fight for a long time. So hopefully it happens. And if Tony doesn't actually end up winning, they should just put it on anyway, and it's not be a title fight. It'd just be a fight, so we'll see.
So let me ask you this, because Dana's got this plan. Like the international fighters, they're going to fight on the private island. The fighters who are stateside, they're going to fight wherever this somewhere on Earth ends up taking place. And they're going to book cards weekly for the next 2 months, starting on April 18th. So let's say the UFC comes to you with an opportunity to fight over these next couple of months and your hands are good to go. And from people I've spoken with, if someone doesn't want to fight during this time, the UFC is pretty understanding, obviously, with everything going on in the world. So if they came to you with an opportunity, main event on a big card or something like that, would you take a fight right now?
For me, as a fighter, the fighter in me says yes. I would want to take the fight for sure. If they take the right precautions, which I think they are, with travel and everything. It's just, South Carolina is full of just grandparents, full of elderly people, and we have a lot of kids at our school that are being raised by grandparents. Grandparents take them and they're in their 80s and 90s. So it's something that I would never want to bring back to them. Because, just the way things are going. So if they make the right precautions, then for sure the fighter in me says yes. The karate instructor in me says it would be very difficult for me to do that for sure. Cause this is my number one thing that I fight for the fun of it. I just love to compete. The money's a bonus, but my job is right here at the gym. That's what I love to do, is teaching kids. So, I would have to sit down with my pops, the boss man, and see where we go from there. But the fighter in me says, yeah, man, I would love to. Am I in shape now? Heck no. I've been snacking at home, man. That's all I'm able to do. I may fight at like 205. That could be, I don't know. But, I would have to start running or something. I don't know.
What are you weighing right now? Are you near there?
That heavy.
I was gonna say.
No, I'm not that heavy. The heaviest I get, like when I feel fat or whatever, I'm like 200 pounds. And most guys in my weight class walk around at that. I'm normally like a 190, 195 guy, and I stay right around there. And sometimes I'll drop down to like 188 in the 80s. So my body weight goes up and down like crazy. Like holidays, it goes up. And it's not the holidays. I stay around the 185, 190 area. So I'm not a big welterweight to begin with, but I'm feeling it right now, man. When I walk, it's like, you feeling the jiggle,
You're human after all. It happens to us all. I think we're all experiencing this right now.
100%, man. All I have is Doritos. That's all I've been living off of, Doritos. And peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's about it.
Yeah, I just made my son a peanut butter and fluff. He's just crushing that sandwich right now.
That sounds so good right now. I'm going to go home and make me one.
There you go. That's what you do. A little give and take here, Stephen.
Exactly.
I was talking to James Krause about the pandemic and how things are being handled. And his answer I thought was spot on, because he told me essentially, like, I understand where everyone's coming from. I respect everybody's decision. But no matter what, someone's going to be upset with the answer that's given. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's always going to be somebody upset. Always. It really is. And, I know that firsthand. I feel like I'm kind of a likable guy, but there's always that one person out there that just wants to you know what I mean? Especially on social media. It's the same. It's the same everywhere you go. There's going to be somebody that's just is going to be upset with whatever answer they get. So, and all you can do is just keep on keeping on, man. You got to keep on keeping on.
I know you've done a few interviews recently. It seems like Colby Covington is at the top of your list. And from a meritocracy standpoint, that makes all the sense in the world. But Colby, he wants what he wants, and he sort of ignores the rest of it. So if it's not Colby, who I guess from all indications wants to fight Tyron Woodley, and that's a big fight, what else makes sense for you? I mean, Leon Edwards is there. Gilbert Burns is nipping at your heels right now. Like, what would make sense should Covington not be an option right now?
Those are always the guys that I'm looking for. Anybody in the top 5 for sure. You got Leon Edwards. You got, I've already fought Tyron twice. I don't think anybody wants to see that again. But Colby Covington for sure. And Leon Edwards would be, both guys very, very high level in their craft. And I think Leon Edwards is the better MMA fighter than both. He's got really good striking. And that's what he was in the beginning, was a good striker. But now you're seeing him use his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu he used against RDA. When he fought Vicente Luque, he took him down. I was like, what the heck, man, this guy. And those are the guys you really have to prepare for, because they're different every time they step out there. And Leon Edwards is that guy, which is why he's on like a crazy fight winning streak. And Colby Covington, everybody knows what's going to happen when I fight him. He's just going to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. And his striking doesn't even compare. So, could he hit you and knock you out? For sure. But I've definitely fought better strikers than him, and I think Leon Edwards is definitely the better MMA fighter for sure. And those are the guys I want to fight right there, man. So yeah, man, any one of them, I really don't care. At this point, in my career, I'm ranked number 5. I got a small window to kind of do what I want to do, and I want to fight the best in the world. Who can say that, right? I tell people it's like an anime. You're fighting the best guys in the world. It's crazy. I'm like, heck yeah, man, let's do it. Tell my grandkids that. My grandkids say, yeah, I fought the best fighters in the world. No big deal.
A couple more things, man. I always appreciate the time. I saw a couple months ago you taped an episode of Family Feud. It was you and Holly Holm, Michelle Watterson, Cejudo, and even Forrest Griffin, who had to have been a wild card there. But
oh my gosh!
As someone who, as a child, wanted to be the host of Family Feud someday, I was a little bit jealous of seeing you post that on Instagram. What was that experience like, being part of that show?
It was wild, man. I think it's really cool. What shocked me the most was, I tell you what was really cool about it is I got to meet some really cool people. We went up against the WBC, boxing champions. You had Ryan Garcia was in there. You had Riddick Bowe. You had Holyfield. So you had some of the guys that I looked up to, growing up in the boxing world, especially Holyfield, watching him fight Mike Tyson. I was there sitting on the floor watching him fight Mike Tyson and get his ear bit off. That was just to see those guys was really cool. And they're really likable and really cool people, man. And to see everything, how it was filmed. It was really cool, because if they mess up, they just kind of started over, kind of started the script over. But once the game started, they could stop it and start right back where they left off if they didn't like what they were saying, blah, blah, blah. So it was really cool to see how it was filmed. And I had a blast, man. I had a blast.
I will say, Steve, I've been very critical of the Family Feud hosts over the years, but I think Steve Harvey's killing it. I think he's doing a great job.
I think he's doing a great job too, man. And I didn't get to actually hang out or talk to him just while we were on the show. That was about it. And because I think they were filming episodes back to back to back. So we were the first on. And then after that, he was going right into another episode with different people. So I never really got to hang out and chat with him. But I hear he's a really nice guy. And on the show, he was a lot of fun. He got the crowd going. I think he's doing a great job.
His story is crazy. Did I hear you say did you say that you were sitting on the floor watching Tyson Holyfield, or you were actually at that fight?
No. I was sitting on the floor in my undies, man, with the fan.
Right. I was gonna say.
That was That was the time my dad was like, I'll never watch a Mike Tyson fight ever again. I remember him saying it. I'll never watch a Mike Tyson fight ever again. You know, when he bit Holyfield's ear off. And it was crazy because as soon as I saw Holyfield, I looked at his ears and you could see where they were sewn back on. It was crazy.
I know you and Weidman have been gaming like crazy lately. And the last time you and I spoke, Chris crashed our interview that we did in Boston. And you guys were talking about this game that you were both obsessed with at the time that I still can't remember what it was to this day. But what's the big game all the folks should be playing right now?
Warzone, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Warzone is the jam. It's the new battle royale game that we've been playing nonstop. So I got Chris back into streaming, I guess, because New York's on lockdown, like they can't go nowhere, and so he has nothing to do. So we've been gaming like crazy lately. So we'll get on Twitch. He's Chris Weidman. I'm Wonderboy Faith. Twitch.tv/WonderboyFaith. So what was cool was the UFC had me host their Twitch and watch some of my fights. And I guess my fight when I watched myself get knocked out went viral. And, you know, which is always, I think it's fun, man. I think the fans love it when they see me get knocked out or somebody get knocked out and watch themselves do it. And it was fun. And yeah, it hurt. It hurt me watching it again. But it was good. And then next thing you know, my Twitch started blowing up and it's getting better every day. And it's a cool way for fans to see you out of the fighting realm, just kind of be you, you know? And that's the one thing that I rage when I play video games. That is it. I mean, when people's like, wait, did I just hear that come out of Wonderboy's mouth? I'm like, I'm sorry, but video games make me rage, man. And that's anybody else can talk as much crap as they want. It doesn't bother me. But when I play video games and I die when I shouldn't have died, I freak out. Man. It's fun, though. Everybody gets to see me rage when they don't normally see me do that. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, make sure you follow that because, I mean, you may never, ever see that again. And without it, you got to see Wonderboy rage out playing video games.
First time for everything, right?
And the other thing we got to check out is your YouTube channel. I watched a couple of videos. Your intro to your last video, you said, I'm not wearing my leotard right now. What was that? Did you wear a leotard in a video?
No, on Instagram. On Instagram. Did you see on Instagram where I did that? I brought the 80s, was it like their aerobic Olympics back? We did like a really cool challenge. Everybody was doing these challenges. So I was like, I got to kick it up a notch. So me and my brother, Tony, who helps with my YouTube channel, we ended up getting like these little leotards and shorts and the white, fluffy socks and white Reeboks. And we did like you have to go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. It's so freaking funny. Go to my Instagram. It's like right at the top. And I said like who did it better, and it showed us. I think Key and Peele. Have you ever heard of Key and Peele? Yeah. On Comedy Central? They did one with the aerobic Olympics, but we decided to do one. It was fun. It took some time to choreograph the dance moves, but we had a good time doing it. You have to check it out.
Well, I know the next thing I'm doing once I get off the phone here. But Stephen, always a pleasure chatting with you. We've come a long way, you and I. We've been doing these conversations for years, and now we're at a very professional setting here, and I appreciate that very much. I'm glad the hands are feeling better. Keep being you, man. Keep being that positive presence, and thank you for coming on the show, man.
Anytime, my brother, and hopefully we can do it again sometime. I appreciate you, brother. You have a good one. Be safe.
You too, man. Thanks.
Yes, sir.